Hi, it's the 25th of September 2018 at 11:30 a.m. I've had a couple of days off. I'm absolutely exhausted, mainly from answering comments. I talk to everybody. I'm a bit of a chatter. So I think I needed to. I couldn't sleep. I was getting that way that I just couldn't sleep anymore. So I thought I needed a couple of days off. I'm also thinking about moving from here to something else. Uh, I think I've just about done with mgtow. I think um, it's time to move on. Uh, I've just been banned from PayPal, so I'm wondering whether it's somehow related to this or not. I mean, it's a pretty horrible world we live in now, and it just doesn't feel good. I just don't like it. Sorry, it reminds me of I read George Orwell's 1984 when I was at school, and it sounded really bleak and horrible. I didn't really want to read it. I didn't want to read any of the rubbish they gave us, but I read it. Oh, yuck! And I'm surprised it's turned out to be. It just couldn't have been a better description for what we're living in. It was almost like, yeah, here's your future. And it's almost like I read it and thought, ugh, it's black and horrible and yuck. Yeah, this is my future. This is the future of the world. And but anyway, that's all by the by. I think I just want to move away from it and move into something, oh, I don't know, just a bit lighter, a bit more fun. I don't care if it doesn't pick up the views. Just a bit, just a bit more, just a bit lighter and brighter than this. This is awful. This is revolt. Yeah, but anyway, I thought I'd just finish off and do a couple of videos, sort of summing everything up that I've spoken about over the last few months. And I thought I've been thinking about the effects of narcissism. Now, I believe that's what we're all against, actually, narcissism. And not against women. It's probably against narcissism in women, or that's affecting women, or something like that. And look, I'm sure there are groups there of women who see exactly the same thing in men, and I support them and applaud them. Any form of narcissism, whether male, female, it makes no difference. It's not a sexist thing. It's narcissism. It's a mental illness, basically. And what I've gotten, the whole thing about it is, it's very powerful, right? A narcissist, you just can't beat them. And this too would be why you're so angry, because there's just nothing you can do about them. It doesn't matter. They just win everything. And you are downtrodden, and so you've just decided to, pack up your bat and go home. But yeah, that you could look at it that way, but you could look at it another way as well. But you're left with thinking, what's the downside in it for them? Is there a downside? It just looks like we just get walked over, and anybody who falls victim to it, of it, just lose. What do they say? Nice guys come last. Yeah, we're the nice guys. Yeah, and it was actually this was sort of prompted by a comment I got a few days ago. I loved it. Yeah, yes, mgtows are just stupid because we trick you. I think it was from a guy actually, and I thought, that's I think that really said it and did that pinpoint it. I'm just a simple thinker, okay? I don't have all these long conclusions. It's just a simple idea. But what happens is the non-narcissist trusts people. That's what they do. They just trust people. Like we do on the road. You trust others to do their job. You have to do your job and drive carefully and safely. And you trust in others to do the same thing. Now, what I think the disease of narcissism does is it destroys all that trust. All of it. And not just between others, the outsiders, also internally. I think it just ultimately destroys all trust. So, I mean, you know, it'll just be, if you can imagine what it'll be like living in a mental asylum. You know, would you like to live inside one? That's what we are. And that's what we're walking out of. And women too. Women can see it in men. They just don't want it either. Yep, they're walking away as well, just saying, no, we don't want that anymore. And they have every right to. No, but this is what I say. This is not about a male-female thing. Never has been with me. It's just that you're identified, because you've spent, most of you guys have spent most of your time with narcissistic women. Yeah, that's all you see is narcissistic women. And that's a fair comment too. But narcissism is a disease. And I reckon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the big thing is, in the end, it will just destroy all trust everywhere, with everything. And there are several really obvious, blatantly obvious reasons why it does that. The first thing is, you know, this is just a few examples of what the narcissist does. Okay, they twist things around. They'll do something and then they'll twist it around and try and spin it in some other way that, oh no, it was like this. You've got it wrong. You're wrong. It's like this. And I mean, it's just, you know, no. This is a situation. You are completely wrong. And they do that in a tone that, you know, they use a tone that's designed to put you down, to make you feel ill at ease, that they are correct, you're wrong, just by use of tone. Tone's a very powerful weapon of the narcissist. It's the whole tone that they use conveys guilt. You're guilty until you prove innocent, which you can't do, because they twist all the words around that, you know, and it doesn't matter what you say or what you do. Or they twist a situation around. I mean, that happened to me. My wife had to take out an AVO order on me in conjunction with the police for my own protection, because I was so dangerously suicidal, needed to do it. And there's just no amount of convincing her that that's not the, you know, just it's illogical, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's just, I mean, do I hate her for it? No, she's ill. Sorry, that's just, I mean, you know, anybody that, you know, after 6 months is still thinking that way has got a problem. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. And, you know, no, there's no hatred here. How can you hate an ill person? But yeah, no, you know, a violence order is not going to stop anybody from committing suicide. Sorry, they're just, at that point they're not worried about getting into trouble from the law if they're dead. You know, but 6 months to explain that. No, that's just how it is. So it's not only words, they just twist whole situations around. Makes sense, doesn't it? Of course, yeah, just great solution to all suicide. Just put an AVO on everybody. From birth. Stop all wars, murders, everything. Just, here's an AVO. Bang, 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 bang. Simple. See how they just twist the situation around? Makes absolutely no sense unless you're in the ward with them. So those, you know, the inmates are there, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know how they get there, nor do I particularly want to try and work it out. I mean, it could make sense, but it just, when you stand back, if you look at it really, really, really closely, yeah, it could make sense. But if you stand back and look at it, it's just no loony bin. Which is a bit frightening, really, because you sort of start realising, as I did, that, yeah, we're in the loony bin. And now there's nothing wrong with a loony bin, if it's a bin, but not when it's out here, and there is no bin. It'd probably make more sense in, forget it. But anyway, that's what happens. That's this twisting. So you have to ask yourself, do you trust a person that thinks like that? Now, it's a simple question. Yes, if you're also ill, you would probably trust them. provided they did all the things that one ill person does for another. But if you're on the outside of the illness, no, you're probably not going to trust them too much. The other thing they do, or another thing they do, is they accuse. Very good at accusing you of all manner of things, which is based on this twisting of situation and words and what have you. Yeah, so it doesn't, somehow you end up being accused of being guilty. It doesn't matter what you've said or done, really, because it all goes into their mind and gets twisted around, turned around, and quite frankly, it possibly becomes addictive to them. This is fun to do, I imagine. I don't know. I've got no idea. You know, I spend my life being the opposite. You know, where I try to crystallise everything into something that makes sense, perfect, simple sense that there's no argument to. And I don't always get it right. I mean, you can't always get it right, and yeah, hopefully in time, you know, I will get it clearer and clearer and clearer. So it's the truth of it. Just you just can't avoid it. It's just there. But that's what they do. They get all these ideas and everything that you've done, and they twist it around, and then suddenly you're guilty. And so you are continually accused of no matter what. So if it doesn't matter what you do anymore, yeah, how much are you going to tell that other person in future? What are you going to say to them? Or the chance that you can say hi and hope like hell that that didn't bring on an accusation. But then you don't get to the point where you don't even say hi anymore, because that could be considered accusing you of something. But that's why. So what happens when someone continually accuses you of something? You start losing your trust. I mean, why would you want to trust somebody that's going to accuse you? Open your mouth and talk to them, and yeah, they're going to accuse you. You know, before you know it, they'll be down. And this is how I feel. Like there's so much sickness out there. I could say anything to anybody. They twist it all around their mind. Oh, he said this. Take it right out of context. Go to the police. Before you know it, I'm going to jail. I honestly see it that way. It could be anything. Anything I say just gets twisted around, turned around, because you're dealing with a mental illness. Sorry, it's just how it is. Yeah, heaps of people say things to me. I just sort of, I sort of get roughly what they're talking about. I don't assume that they're out to attack me, kill me, or anything like that. No, I try to make light of it where I can, you know, so it's not too serious, whatever. Yeah, so they accuse. So first they twist everything around, and then accuse you of all sorts of manner of things. And of course, the next thing they do is they blame. They blame, it's your fault. I mean, you were born, weren't you? You're there, you're standing there, you're in my life. It has to be your fault. It's not my fault, it's your fault. You know? And it's not just people, it's whole countries. My God, what was that ship doing there that got in the way of our missile? You know, or what was that plane doing there? My God, Father, don't blame us. It's your fault. You know, it's continual. It's everybody else's fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Oh, you did this. You did that. Yeah. It's a mental illness. That's what it is. It's just a mental illness. It's nothing else. You know, and it's just growing, flourishing like you wouldn't believe. Just blooming beautifully. You know, you just have to look around. It's happening everywhere, and this is what you hate. And this is why you all write, I don't trust, I don't trust, I don't trust, I don't trust. Every other comment is, no, I no longer trust, I no longer trust, I no longer trust them. About women. Women could be probably on other sides saying, I no longer trust them, I don't trust them, I don't trust them, don't trust them. Yep, got very right. Why would you trust somebody with a mental illness? I'm not saying everybody's got it, but a lot of people have. It's spread. It's like alcoholism. Not everybody's an alcoholic. Not everybody drinks, but by God, a lot of people do. And I suspect there's more narcissism than there are alcoholics, because there's nothing stopping it. At least with alcoholism, you you know, you're not trying not to drink as much. It's a deliberate thing. You have to go to a bottle shop or a liquor store, whatever you like to call it, buy the alcohol, bring it home, and you're sort of showing to yourself, no, well, I'm having a drink. You can go down and say, oh, look, you know, you look at your bank statement and you go, yeah, well, I bought it there, and there, and I had it every night. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, so I mean, you can see it, but not with narcissism. No, it hides, it lurks in the shadows. But just like an alcoholic, you know, do people trust an alcoholic? You know, they've just put yourself in that. You know, would you trust an alcoholic? Chances are, no, you wouldn't at all. The same thing with narcissism. We'll get there eventually. Right now, you're still trusting it, but as time goes on, it will change. And you'll find with a narcissist, they'll be furious in denial. Don't, you know, and you get all of these things, twisting, accusing and blaming will come back again. Because absolutely furious, just like an alcoholic. Oh my God, you know, the fury of it. You know, it's like a scam that's running a Ponzi scheme. Absolutely furious at the thought that somebody could accuse them that they were doing the wrong thing. And it's just, you know, this intimidating, you, how dare you accuse me of that. And once again, using all the tones that, you know, and look, you're just ordinary people. But this person, the narcissist, is not ordinary anymore. You know, something's got a hold of their mind, just like an alcoholic. They become furious. But they have a problem. And it's being piped into them. It's being supported. They don't think for a moment to turn off their TV set and think, well, geez, what am I talking about? What am I thinking? Really, what am I thinking? That there's not enough peace in their life to think, what am I actually thinking? Do I really believe in this? You know, is there enough silence there so they can quietly contemplate what they were as children to what they were today as an adult, what they are today as an adult, and question why they're supporting certain things? Like, why do I support mgtow? I think about it. Why do I actually support mgtow? Because I think a lot of guys are hurting and upset and need support, need someone to talk to, might just need a chat, just, you know, make a comment. Yeah, I try to respond to all the comments. I try to say things that hopefully will, you know, make sense for people. I can see it and go, yeah, fair enough. Okay, that makes sense. That's what I'm doing. I'm supporting men who have been hurt by narcissism. Who have been hurt by, you know, falsely accused, had things twisted around, blamed for everything. And that's what I do. Yeah, it looks like I'm paying a bit for it, but I suppose that's just a price. But that's what's happening in the world. Yeah, so I'm not ashamed of it. You know, it's just, I'm here to nothing else in it, just to be here for people who are doing it tough, for guys, and also to try to make sense of it, so you can actually lose some of your anger and lose some of your, you know, your frustration. That, yeah, well, it makes sense. It's a mental illness. That's what you're upset about, and, you know, try and help you get on with your life. You know, just stay away from those people. You know, I spent 6 months, or 3 or 4 months probably, 70 videos trying to say, yeah, these are all these conversation things. If they accuse you of stuff or they twist stuff around and do all that, yeah, that's a sign of narcissism. Stay away from it. Don't get involved. Don't get involved in a debate. Because it's another, believe it or not, that's a classic. That's a good way to get you down there. You know, a debate, yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, and they make it say, oh, well, what's wrong with you? You know, so this sort of twisting things around and accusing you. You've got a problem because you don't want to debate. No, don't really. Life's shitty enough without having more. You know, more of that. So, yeah, they're furious in denial. And they'll just deny everything. That's you. Once again, your fault. And they'll get threatening. They'll threaten you with all manner of things. Just like an alcoholic, oh, I'll threaten you with it, oh, I'll get you, oh, I'm going to do this, oh, I'm going to, and they've got a whole system behind them to support them. To support their mental illness, essentially. They've got a whole system behind them that'll back them up. that'll threaten you, that'll take away your home, your livelihood, your everything, to back them up. And we're left there thinking, what the hell? What do we do? The only thing that mgtow can think to do is, come on here and just be away from it all. I've watched other yes, some are hostile toward women or something. I'm not. The guys that I watch aren't. They just talk about what's happening in the world and their own observations, and it's there for to try and make people feel a bit better. They talk about their own life or what have you, but I don't think, in all honesty, I don't think any of us are happy doing it. Everybody says, "Oh, how happy." Yeah, well, if you're out of the nut job, nut house, yeah, it's better. But should it be, the choice of a mental illness or not? And it'd be seriously like the whole world, most of the world are alcoholics, and nobody can see a problem with alcoholism. I mean, it's just no doubt. It's not cool anymore. But there was a time when there was, what's wrong with you? Don't you want to drink? Why don't you drink? Why don't you drink, every day, like I do? That wasn't so long ago. And for somebody who didn't drink, the world would have been a horrible place. And they would have described it this way, that way. They said, just stay away from them. I mean, that's just the truth of it. I used to be a drinker. I'm probably not a good one. I don't know. I didn't, that seemed all right inside my head. See what I mean? That's all that sort of thing. It's your fault. Can't you handle me? What's your problem? I was fine. That's how crazy it is. That's the same thing. And I'm not, but I know a lot of drunks that, abusive, and they yell and they scream and they'll fight and they'll kick and they'll hit and they'll scratch and they'll punch and they'll do all these things. And when they're sober, it's like, they don't want to know it. There's denial. No. You must have done something wrong. I couldn't have possibly done that. I wouldn't have said that. But that's the truth of it. And that's what happens. It's the same thing. It's no different. When you're drunk, you're insane. You're off your nut. You're mad. If you weren't, they'd let you drive cars, fly planes, do all that sort of thing. They won't. They don't trust you. And that brings it up to where it gets to in the end. And they need to do this for control. Now, that's a whole other subject. I'm not going to cover it here, but that's what they want, because it's control. For whatever reason. To control and manipulate, and it's an addiction. It's like, you want to control, hold this world together, the world that you've created in your mind, hold it together in a way that doesn't make any sense. So you've got to, it's like an alcoholic. They have to control, they have to try and hold their lives together. As it's disintegrating, it's forever falling to pieces. Narcissists have got the same problem. It's forever falling to pieces, so they have to do all these things to try and control it, and so everybody has to do something. It's not them, but it's everybody else. So in the end, you all know this, you all see it. For a while, you'll trust it. For a good while, you'll think, oh no, it must be, if they're saying it's your fault, you're being accused, and it must be your fault. I know I've run into quite a few people that sat down and said, no, it was all my fault. I'm trying to, yep. And look, parts of it are your fault. There's no doubt about it. None of us are perfect. Parts of it will be your fault. I mean, I've regretted, things that I've said and what have you. I've got that ability to stand there and say, no, it's far from perfect. But, I don't criticise, I don't kill myself for that, because that's what happened, yeah, you're not perfect. But it's when somebody says, no, I did nothing wrong, you go, you got a problem. No, because I'm perfect. You think, and that's narcissism. That's a good chance it's just narcissism. Even somebody accusing you of being a narcissist, that's narcissism. Because I point the finger at you. That's you. You're the narcissist. And this is what you do. You just look back and you just look at people who are accusing, who are twisting, who are blaming, who are in denial, threatening. Yeah, all signs, and this is what happens. And you're not stupid. Like the commenter said, you're stupid, we can trick you. You're trusting. That's what you are. Yeah, you can call it naive if you want. And yeah, you become very defensive, but you're still underneath it all. That's what you believe, how you believe the world works. It's built on trust. And I'd say you're right. If you go to a bank and borrow money, the bank is essentially trusting you that you'll repay it, although they want more and more security, but it's everybody's trusting in everybody else. Just like it is when you're driving. That's the way a good society works. You can drive along and start abusing everybody else. You don't know what you're doing. And while you're looking at them, jabbing the finger at them, what's going to happen to you? You're going to pray, aren't you? It's like that. Instead of just minding your own bloody business and driving your car as well as you can and trust that everybody else does the same thing. Because that's what holds it together, is trust. As soon as that trust goes, yep, everybody's going to be, you do this and a bang, and it's just going to be pranged up cars everywhere. That's what'll happen. All trust will be destroyed. And once all that trust goes, once you no longer trust the other drivers, well, you're going to have a mess. Because you won't be game to go out on the road. To begin, if you just didn't trust other humans, you just wouldn't go out there. Why? You're going to die. You're driving a car that's just going to kill you. So all of that can happen, but I don't really know what's going to happen with this. All I know is if they don't start clearing up the mental illness, we'll lose all trust. That's what's going to happen. What happens after that? Anybody's guess. But it'll be a mess. I guarantee you. It won't be pretty. I just can't imagine a world without trust being, a great place to be. But look, anyway, it's been great talking to you. And I don't know whether I'll do... I'll just do a couple more vids, I think. And I want to get out of the narcissism. I really need to escape all of this. 1984 was revolting. Actually, the year 1984 was pretty good. But this Huxley's world is just, you can keep it. Anyway, been good talking to you, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.